to share with you today my story about visualization and how it impacted my life tremendously. About 15 years ago, I was diagnosed with diverticulitis. Diverticulitis is an inflammation of the diverticulum. It's in your colon, and I was having chronic flare-ups. And unfortunately, my family has a history of colon cancer, and subsequently my mother passed from colon cancer. So this was of great concern. After many hospital stays and inflamed areas, it was determined that I really truly needed surgery. Now, surgery was a big deal. It was a long hospital stay of 8 to 10 days. It had some very serious complications if it did not go well. I could have an altered state of being in my body. Also, I had never been under general anesthetic before, and I was very scared. So subsequently, the surgery was impending, and I had about 4 to 6 months prior to actually scheduling the surgery because it was elective. After which, I had an opportunity to sit at home and think and think and think. And as the surgery increasingly became closer, I was so fear-based. The anxiety level took on an incredible state of being in my body. It's all I thought about. When I finished writing my living will for the hospital, I noticed that my anxiety level had just increased tremendously. It was about at this time that a friend of mine suggested a woman who actually does therapy for people who are able to go through a surgical process and have great results through visualization, body healing imagery. And I thought to myself, I need to set up an appointment, which I did immediately. Upon going there, I realized that she was going to take all of this fear and hone it into something that was going to be self-healing. And working with her, she gave me the tools that I needed, which was a visualization, guided imagery, media type program that I was able to follow, and it completely changed the way I thought about the surgery. Going into her, I was convinced I was going to die and leave my young children at home and my husband, or something significantly would go wrong. What she did through these tapes and visualization is she brought me to a place of calm and healing, and also a place where I could actually use it as a tool during surgery. So there was actually 2 components here. First, getting ready for surgery, which was listening to these tapes and meditating every single day. It was a visualization process where I brought myself to this place of healing. And secondly, was envisioning myself in the surgery and then post-surgery and what my body was actually doing. So for me, this woman, this therapist, knew that I'm a very spiritual person, and so she honed into my fundamental belief in Christ. Anybody can use this with any kind of higher power or whatever they believe, but it is getting to that point. And during that process, so I calmed my body. I envisioned the operating room. I put angels around me. I put Jesus there. I put competent surgeons. And instead of terrorizing my body, they were healing my body. They were bringing it peace. They were taking care of what needed to be done. After which I listened to the tapes, and those were the ones that were sending good oxygen into the site, healing blood. My organs were all working in unity. My body was healing. It was actually becoming stronger and better and peaceful. The results were miraculous. As a matter of fact, they've actually started a program subsequently, a year later, because of the results that I was having. So the day of the surgery, after a 6-hour surgery, I was up and walking about 6 hours later, and I actually ran into my surgeon in the hallway, and he said, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, you told me I should get up and walk when I felt up to it." And he was so flabbergasted. He said, "Okay, all right, well, that's great." The next day, when all the surgical team came in, and of course all the residents, there must have been 20 doctors in the room at the time, and they stopped and they said, "What are you doing that every other single person on the surgical floor is not?" And I explained to them what I was doing, how I was doing it. And after the 4th day, I was scheduled for a 10-day stint in the hospital, the doctor walked in. He said, "Your recovery is unprecedented. I'm sending you home. Being in the hospital is going to cause you more harm than sending you back." And after 4 days, I packed up, I left. And to this day, I have had not one complication. I recovered beautifully. I continue to listen to the tapes, and I'm fine today. So for me, it impacted my life greatly.